The SAP add-on tool Advanced MD04 is packaged into the MRP Exception Monitor, which is also an SAP add-on tool. And it is done so from release 2019 on. So if you are running the MRP Exception Monitor in your SAP system, and you are on version 2019 with your add-on tools, then you should have access to the Advanced MD04. You can access the add-on tool Advanced MD04 using transaction code /n/SAPLOM/MD04. Use the Advanced MD04 to not only display an enhanced version of the stock requirements list, but also to change demand elements, supply elements, and dates quickly and easily. The Advanced MD04 supports your workflow with many navigation options, shortcuts, and fewer click-intensive processes compared with the original MD04. You can carry out important processing steps such as a conversion of order proposal, changing quantities or changing dates with a minimum number of steps required in the system. You can apply changes directly in the MD04 columns. You can also display important information such as order value or a source of supply directly on the MD04 main screen, without first needing to branch to the details. Display period totals and the stock requirements list in a single screen, or filter interactively by material planned MRP area and any MRP elements with a simple click. Or also display exception messages even for issues with a lower priority. You can also generate prioritized checklists for exceptional situations, or visualize thresholds important to MRP, such as the replenishment lead time and total replenishment lead time for each MRP element. You can access the stock requirements situation cross-material or cross-planned with multiple objects. You can display key master data, consumption data, statistics, key figure flows, MRP elements, aggregated or separate, in up to 7 different navigation pop-ups that can be located on different monitors, thereby simplifying navigation. Or you can use demand-driven planning and the theory of constraints. These advanced planning theories are now supported through the SAP add-on tools and may be purchased as additional functions for the Advanced MD04. For more information, see the demand-driven planning and TOC documentation. Let's get into the specifics of the screen and its individual fields and sections. In the Advanced MD04 header section, you can select the result you would like to work with. The selection is broken down into 4 sections. First, there is the material selection. Other than in standard MD04, you can select multiple materials to view at once and grouped together. This selection can also show the various stock requirement situation from different plants and MRP areas. Therefore, you can select any number of material planned MRP area combinations for which data is to be loaded into the results screen. If you select the Use Planned MRP Areas Only checkbox and leave the field MRP Area empty when you make a selection, then only material planned MRP area combinations in which the MRP area corresponds to the planned are taken into account. If you do not select the checkbox and do not specify the MRP area, the planned level is considered instead of the MRP area level. Then there is the section Material Criteria. This section is comprised of 4 tabs. The first tab, Grouping, where you may restrict the result by plant-specific status, MRP groups, MRP types or procurement indicator, then 2 sets of classifications, which come from the MRP monitor segmentation, and a tab with the exception indicators, which are free definable selection fields that come with the SAP add-on tools. In the Settings tab, you can choose whether to specify the display filter, selection rule, and planning scenario. For the display filter, you can also use the button to the right of the input field to configure the display horizon. You can also force the system to fill the additional fields if you have implemented the body MD_ADD_COL_EZPS, for example, to display batch information in MD04. You can effect the execution of the body by activating the checkbox. You can find the values in the 3 user exit fields in the result list. If the theory of constraints is used, you can make the settings for alternative shift logic and the selection for additional capacity loads here. If Toc is not used, the 2 options are not available. On the tab Historical Data, you can activate access to the data from the historical stock requirements list. Follow the instructions in the linked help article to create the historical data. Using the creation date field, you can load the data for a specific day. If the field remains empty, the most recent historical data record is loaded for the selected materials. After loading the data from your selection, the advanced MD04 displays the result in 2 different tables on the main screen. The upper table is the stock requirements list. The lower table shows the period totals. Use the slider between the 2 tables to configure the ratio between them. The table above displays the stock requirements list. However, the advanced MD04 list has been enhanced with additional data and features compared with the standard MD04. This includes information like the total value of an element, the currency, a vendor and supplier name, and much more. Lots of information which was previously only available opening a pop-up is now visible in the main view. Branching to the individual elements is now done via hotspots in the column MRP element data. Just click on the number and you'll be taken into the document. You probably know that in the standard stock requirements list you can only see 1 exception message at a time. Here are possible second exceptions is displayed in addition to the first exception. When you click on any exception, a pop-up appears with prioritized processing suggestions for this exception number. The processing suggestions can be maintained in add-on tool customizing so that you are able to standardize your planning department's actions to exceptional situations. There is also a new column titled RLT status. In it, either a green, yellow, or red icon is displayed. This means that if the material receipt is within the replenishment lead time, a red icon is displayed. If it is outside of the replenishment lead time, but within the total replenishment lead time, a yellow icon is displayed. And if it is outside of the total replenishment lead time, a green icon is displayed. One of the most prevalent improvements and new features of the advanced MD04 over the standard MD04 is the possibility of direct processing of requirements or receipts and start or end dates in the results table. This function is supported for the following MRP elements: production orders, purchase requisitions, and planned orders. As an example, for the highlighted production order, you may change the quantity to be produced or the finish date of the order. Simply click in the editable field and overwrite the quantity or date. Once you hit the Save button, the production order will be updated and rescheduled. The same, of course, is true for purchase orders or purchase requisitions. In the example here, we have a fixed purchase requisition where the quantity, start release date, or the delivery date can be changed and saved in the document. Multiple changes executed at the same time and of course all messages associated with the update logic will be issued, and a pop-up then informs you about what and which changes have been made. You can also convert an MRP element directly from the results table. For each type of conversion, in this example a purchase requisition, there's a button that can be pressed to initiate the conversion process. The available quantity is calculated per material plant MRP area combination, which can cause confusion when selecting more than one combination. The advanced MD04 contains a second column in addition to available quantity. Click the Calculate Available Quantity button in the toolbar at the top of the results screen to calculate the available quantity only for the visible, unfiltered elements in the second column, and therefore enable cross-plant calculation as well. There are also multiple filter and totaling options. To filter, either click on the filter icon and select the elements, plant code, or material number you want to filter by, or simply click on the element itself, or the plant code, or the material number. The list will be narrowed down to the filter you want to apply. The lower screen then displays the period totals, in the same way as when you push the summary button in standard MD04. In it, you can view requirements and receipts as totals per period, in either days, weeks, or months. Use the corresponding buttons days, weeks, and months in the application toolbar. Double-click on the green column's material, plant, or MRP area to filter the stock requirements list and the period total by the combination clicked. If you use this functionality in a different window, for example the stock requirements list or one of the information pop-ups, the period totals are also filtered. Double-click on the light blue columns, planned independent requirements, requirements, or receipts, to filter the stock requirements list by the corresponding type. For example, planned independent requirement, requirement, or receipt, and the date or period of the row clicked. Choose the button Reset Filters in the top left of the application toolbar to reset the filtering in the period totals and, of course, the stock requirements list. The application toolbar on top of the screen provides the following options. First, you have three buttons. Press the Execution button to update the view. Press the Variant button to load a saved selection variant, or press the arrow button to reset all filters. In the Update view, load the data according to your selection. Then there are the Periods button. These control the way the period totals are displayed, either by day, by week, or by month. Clicking the button again hides the period totals. Hitting the GR/AR button switches between the available date and the goods receipt date. And hitting the button Safety Time switches the safety time on or off. A valuable feature of the advanced MD04 is that you can configure and customize your own suggestions for actions to cure exception messages. As an example, you can customize any exception message and its associated actions. Here we have maintained various actions for various exception messages with their respective priorities and sequence. Exception message 30, for example, has 5 activities suggested. Once you click on the exception message in the advanced MD04, a window will pop up with the respective suggestions and plan of action. This is a great way to standardize your exception monitoring and how exceptions ought to be cured. Out of the advanced MD04, you can also use various additional windows or pop-ups. These pop-ups provide additional information, and you can still work in the main screen at the same time. If you're using multiple monitors at work, you'll be able to show the main screen on one monitor and the pop-up on another. This allows for a great exception monitor. You can use the advanced MD04 pop-ups in parallel with the main screen. While a pop-up is open, you can continue to work on the main screen, meaning in the stock requirements list, for example. The pop-up remains available in the foreground. If you are using more than one monitor, you can use the main screen on one monitor and the pop-ups on another. For each available mode, you can have a pop-up open at the same time. The data of the main screen and the pop-ups is linked. Load the data for the stock requirements list again in order to update all data for all pop-ups. In the same way, all changes that you make in the stock requirements list, for example, changing a value directly in the receipt demand column, are visible in the pop-ups directly. Inversely, the pop-ups provide various options to support you in navigating through the stock requirements list. In a mode that contains the columns Material, Plant, and MRP area, double-click on these columns to filter the stock requirement list by the combination clicked. In the mode MRP Elements Aggregated, double-click in the light blue column MRP element to filter the stock requirement list by the MRP Elements clicked. In the mode MRP Elements Exploded, double-click in the light blue column MRP element to filter the stock requirements list by the MRP element clicked and also by the Material, Plant, MRP area combination of the respective row. It is possible to switch mode at any time in a pop-up. To do so, either choose the two arrow buttons Previous Mode and Next Mode in the pop-up toolbar to go forward or back, or choose the desired mode directly via the button Switch Mode. When switching mode, the pop-up retains its size and position. Let's have a closer look at these pop-ups and what information you get. If you click on the button MRP Elements Aggregated, then an aggregation of the individual MRP elements across all selected Material, Plant, MRP area combinations is displayed here. The number of entries per MRP element with rescheduling date and the number of exceptions, as well as the total of the value and receipt or demand are calculated. When clicking the next button, you'll get MRP elements individually, which is like MRP Elements Aggregated, only with additional explosion by Material, Plant, MRP area combination. Information on the value calculation, for example the price per unit of measure, is also displayed. In the pop-up materials, all kinds of data from the Material Master Record are displayed. And in the pop-up statistics, you'll get info about stocks, requirements, demands, receipts, periods, and so on and so forth. The next pop-up allows for enhanced planning with either demand-driven MRP or the theory of constraints. Either one of these theories allows for advanced planning, and complete functionality is available throughout a combination of SAP add-on tools in SAP. This feature brings demand-driven MRP or the theory of constraints to SAP ERP. Please refer to the respective documentation for more information. The pop-up classification displays all the segmentation info from the MRP monitors classification. And eventually there is a pop-up showing important key figures and periodic developments. Read the material consumptions over a time series of 2 years here. Under Settings, menu option Set Reference Period Year, enter which year, including the previous year, is to be displayed. You can use the buttons in the toolbar to switch between the period indicators, months and weeks. If you have entered a reference key and use the MRP monitor to perform reference analysis, you can also read the key figures of the analysis across the time series here. Let's review what we have learned in this module. The key benefits of the advanced MD04 are that it is a central place for daily troubleshooting. It identifies errors in an easy to understand way, and you can resolve issues without leaving the tool. You can drill right into critical documents to make necessary adjustments. The advanced MD04 aggregates and displays data with critical planning status such as delayed production orders. It also provides a detailed view of all materials and movement data. Various pop-ups with lots of information are at your fingertips, and you can directly edit dates and quantities without branching to the elements themselves. The advanced MD04 should help the planner to work a lot more effective and efficient and fast to address exceptional situations.